Doing Dahmer?
We're doing Dahmer.
So, doing Dumb and Dahmer?
So I got a little. Before we start anything, I've got a little joke, little riddle, whatever you want to call it, for you guys. What does Dahmer keep in a shower? Head and Shoulders.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Cats with Tin Hats. This is Oliver.
Wyatt.
Tucker.
And with Wyatt's joke, you can probably tell that
Great way.
this podcast is about Jeffrey Dahmer and the movie Dahmer, starring Jeremy
Hawkeye!
Renner, also known as Jeremy Renner. Just like to put out a quick trigger warning, we are talking about serial killers. If you don't want to hear any stories about murder, sexual assault,
all of that shit,
drugging people, tune into another one of our ones. We did Stanley Kubrick last month. That was a great laugh. But anyway,
yeah, and to preface this too, by the jokes we're making about the movie, that's solely about the movie and not any of the real life things that have happened. I just want to preface that.
And the jokes being said will all be issue 2, the son of a bitch, Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, the sick fuck.
No, and then that's it. So it's gonna be tasteful.
So yeah, we're talking about the 2002 movie titled Dahmer, directed and written by David Jacobson, starring Jeremy Renner. And before we get into it, like always, thoughts on the movie? What do you think?
I don't know for you. I don't know about for you guys, but like at the very beginning, did it was the picture like it would fit the TV and then shrink, fit the TV and shrink, or no? Or did it just or was it did the picture fuck up for you guys or no?
I didn't.
Because for me, it did, and it was very weird. It was when the opening shot of the chocolate factory. I think it was.
Maybe it did for me then.
It only did it twice, but it was like, is this gonna do it for the entire movie? Because it was like it would fit the screen, and then it would cut it down where it's like, sometimes where like the top and the bottom of the screen is all black still.
Oh, so like the aspect ratio.
It kept on. I don't know if it was maybe buffering or something, or it was just acting up, but that kind of pissed me off. But then, other than that, no, fucking, it was a decent movie. It was. It went by. I found it went by kind of quick, like for an hour and like 40-some minute movie.
Yeah, compared to Gacy.
Yeah, compared to Gacy, it just. And I don't know if that was because it was just more of like seeing the twistedness of Dahmer and the acting of Renner and everything, but it was like, I'm not gonna rave about this movie. I'm not gonna say, oh, it was a masterpiece.
No,
but it was, if the time flew by, I wasn't bored, and a little fucking weirded out. Just a little bit. Stop. Tony, a little bit, but yeah, fucking other than that, fucking. What do you think about it, there, Tuck?
I think this movie was, like you were saying, with what we watched last week with Gacy, I find that this movie did a better job of showing the twistedness of the mind of Jeffrey Dahmer. It showed a little bit more of the unhingedness of it. It wasn't shying away from that.
No.
Now these two movies that we talked about last week and this week, this feels low budget too. This does feel like a low budget movie. I mean, most of it takes place in his apartment. Yeah. It's like a very one place kind of thing.
Yeah.
And even his apartment, to me, feels like a stage set.
Yeah.
It feels like, hey, we only had money for the fucking fish tank in the background.
That was a nice fish tank, though.
But like that's you know what I mean. If that's what it feels like. It feels like we spent our budget on other shit.
Yeah.
Which whatever. Like to me, the thing that carries this movie is Jeremy Renner's acting. I think he fucking played it phenomenally, and I think he really sold the part for me.
He kind of fucking looked like to me like when halfway through the movie, like when he had like the famous Dahmer glasses on.
Yeah, the flashback,
right? And he had the shorter hair or. Yeah, the short. I think the more like he looked more clean. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, that's a little. That's fucking good. Like it does, with some makeup and everything. I'm imagining it would be, but fucking you look fucking close to the fucking real son of a bitch.
Wow, $250,000 the budget was, and it only grossed $144,000 worldwide.
It must have been straight to TV though.
Must have been. How much was? Do we know how much Gacy made? Like the budget for Gacy?
Because
I have no idea.
It's saying that David Burke also wrote Gacy, but he's not credited, or I can't find any credits
That might be
like because he wrote this and Gacy. Like he's like a behind the scenes writer for it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's why these are so like closely together everywhere.
And kind of similar in a way, kind of somewhat.
Like
Same budget,
stylistically.
$250,000.
Did it say what it made?
No, doesn't say.
Ugh. So good.
I think for me, this movie, all it did was, again, the performance by Jeremy Renner was unsettling. It was amazing what he was able to do, but it also just gave me a better idea for a Dahmer movie.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Because...
Sorry.
Yes!
No, I thought... I don't know. I would... Go on.
Because one thing we talked about last week with Gacy is there's no theme throughout. It's just talking about the events and trying to form it into a narrative. Whereas looking at Dahmer and looking and like watching a few documentaries on him and seeing what really drove him is one thing that's really missing and is a constant thread through all his motivations is sex and power. And I felt that this was missing that. So we could go a bit, taking a bit from Eyes Wide Shut on that sexual odyssey idea and just embed it in Dahmer and just show him trying to fulfill his sexual urges. Because that's mostly what all of this was about.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you focus more on that as opposed to the events, you could probably get a more streamlined and cohesive storyline throughout. Which would have more of an impact than I feel this movie had for me personally.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, it wasn't, I don't think it had too much of an impact on me. I don't know. I think just some of the imagery here really fucking creeped me out. Like the idea of what was being shown.
Yeah, the part, it was in the nightclub when he was...
The nightclub really really disturbed me. And also the drill. That really disgusted me.
Yeah.
I wish they explained what he was doing a bit better.
Yeah, in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just like actually getting a glimpse as to what the thought process was with that.
Why do you know like why he actually why Dahmer actually did that? Like was it
he would drill a hole into the brain to which he would then inject acid.
Oh, okay.
To make him almost catatonic. So that way he has full power over these bodies and just manipulate them however he wants to.
Oh, okay.
But then still be alive. He's trying to create zombies, essentially.
Okay.
Which is later on, like, this movie doesn't take place with, like, the trial or anything, but that later on played into the effect of seeing if he could plea for insanity, which was what the defense was trying to say, and say, how can a guy who thinks that he can create bodies be sane?
Yeah, not exactly. Oh, okay. So, I thought, I don't know why, I didn't even know what he was fucking doing with the drill. I just thought, I'm like, the fuck? I'm like, he's trying to do like a lobotomy?
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, is that what the fuck he's trying to do? And then like he's stopped, and then it's like...
Because that is what he also did. He lobotomized a lot of his victims.
Oh, okay. Good, because I'm like, oh, he killed the dude. Okay, that's weird. But this, no, he was not dead.
He's just walking around aimlessly.
And then you just fucking look at the blood. Like, oh, he's gonna eat it. We already looked at the blood. He's a sicko. He's a fucking vampire. A fucking stupid four-eyed prick.
I think the thing that this movie, as opposed to Gacy for me, was showing a bit more of the sinister shit.
Yeah.
Showing more than Gacy did. And I don't...
That I didn't also get, though, because he wasn't sinister in his actions. As bad as the stuff he was doing was, it was more of a desire than actual sinister actions.
Yeah.
It was something he felt like he had to do as opposed to, I want to do this.
Yeah. But what I mean in the sense of the imagery of the actions actually playing out, I find that they were a little bit more violent.
Oh, for sure.
There was a violence behind them that I didn't feel in Gacy. I didn't feel a violent urge in Gacy, and I don't know if that's the acting, if it's the character work. Like, this felt a little bit more... there was a little bit more chaos in it. A little bit more of like that simmer of like fucked upness when you got into the violence.
Yeah.
Because
There
it
was
was
a little
also
more.
jumping around quite a lot,
Mm-hmm.
just to disorient you whilst watching it. It was jumping around from different time periods, so you couldn't really lock down which Dahmer this was, whether it was early or sinister or.
The thing that for me, I think the best switch, I think for me that I found, okay, this is like present Dahmer. It was the eyes of how like baggy they were for like when he, because I'd say it would jump from two different timelines, right? Like early Dahmer to now Dahmer, right? Was the hair of how like he just looked like a mess.
Yeah.
Right? Like the present day Dahmer to early Dahmer, right? How he was more clean. He was looked like he was more like a deer in the headlights. Like it's like you knew he wanted some, but he didn't know.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Like, if that makes sense. Like it's just like he's as like fucking, you know, it's gonna sound fucked up, but he's a virgin on killing. He still hasn't got his fucking first kill yet, or he did, but it was
still in the infancy.
It was still in the infancy of like, I maybe want to do it again, and or something, right? Or like how you were saying he wants to have that power because maybe he felt good when with his first kills. I felt powerful, but you know he was a scrawny dude. He's not a big guy,
no.
And
it was jumping from like late 70s, early 80s into the 90s.
Yeah.
So like it was jumping from the first murder in like Ohio area to then Milwaukee kind of thing, and like, I mean it is really interesting like watching that, because you can definitely see the change between the two time periods in the mindset. I think it is really good. I mean, it's fucked. It's hard to believe some of this shit.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because I wasn't around. Like this shit, he died before I was even thought of. So like maybe I think for me it's so hard to believe.
He died in 94.
94, I think he was put to the.
Killed.
Chair.
Or no, he
was murdered in.
He was murdered in prison.
Oh yeah, because that's what it was.
2 years into his life sentence, he was, I think, stabbed.
Yeah, they beat the shit out of him
because he was sentenced like 200 and something years in jail.
Yeah,
yeah, it was
937 years in jail.
Yeah,
15 counts of murder. We start off with him working in a chocolate factory, which, to be honest, I didn't even know that he worked in a chocolate factory.
No, neither did I.
And we see him working in a chocolate factory and training a new worker. And
I love the one there where it's like, you need to have the right kind of mindset to work in this kind of place. I was like, oh no.
Like, ooh, what kind of mindset, bro?
Oh, it's fucked.
You know, it can't be.
But we see him going into a clothing store and meeting up with the first victim that this movie shows.
Yeah.
And we see him talking about getting a pair of shoes and taking pictures of them, and we get to his apartment where a majority of this movie takes place, and we see some of the disgusting experiments that Jeffrey Dahmer would later on admit to doing, and we start to see the escalation of we see cutting back to him having struggles with nothing being private with his dad or anything, and him having a mannequin, and then cutting back to now, I guess, I don't know, going into what was then the Milwaukee gay bar scene, I guess.
Yeah.
That's something that he used to do. And
I just want to say like one thing about so I said, like, so he picked up his the one victim that we see, and he brings it back to his apartment. Fucking remote was the size of your fucking tablet.
I have this.
Right?
How big is that TV?
That fucking TV remote, you're never losing that.
No.
Like, ever. Like, that TV remote was huge. And there's like 300.
I have that note, dude. That is a huge remote.
And there was like 300 buttons. It's like, there's no way there's that much. Those buttons do. How those buttons are just there.
I think it's one for each channel.
But like, there's 300 of them.
But it's like 2002. What channel do you watch? Friends is still running. I mean, they got one more year on fucking cable. But I mean, it's the 90s.
Because this would be 91,
right?
1991.
So like you got Seinfeld stuff, but still that fucking thing
Seinfeld
was the size of no kidding, probably the size of your tablet. It was fucked.
I can't believe it. Like I'm remembering the scene where he just it's literally like this.
It's like, dude, that's a workout.
Set this down real quick because it was heavy as fuck.
It's just like, my God. Sorry, I just wanted to fucking say that because that was fucking.
No,
I'm glad we all had that same note too. It's hard not to notice the fucking remote was literally the size of the dude's fucking goddamn face.
Yeah, it was insane. I mean, one thing about this apartment that's really pissing me off is is there a fucking light in this place? It's so dark.
Yeah.
It annoys the fuck out of me.
Right.
But I know it's for the fucking the little bit of the set, the ambiance. But I'm like, can we fucking turn a light on? But that's also me going, this place is creepy.
Yeah.
No, that's what it's supposed to be, right? But I mean, So
he drugs. So then he goes and starts giving this guy. I think it was just coke, right? Or was it giving him? How did he drug him? Or was he giving him?
He put something in his drink.
In his drink, right?
It's called Halcyon, is what he used to use.
Right? He was crushing that in the bathroom, and he's like, that's a little fucked up.
Yeah, and he drugs him, and he takes the drill out. And
took the drill. Yeah, because took the drill. It's basically this drug made him just super drunk, or it's looked like he's super out of. Yeah, then drills a fucking hole in him, I guess, which I did not know. Mm-hmm. And then I'm assuming, without showing it, Budger, he's probably put the acid in there, and that's what made him really him not really being just super a zombie.
Yeah.
So that actually happened in real life, and the thing that proceeded afterwards, him running down the alleyway, actually happened too. Yeah. And
then the two people finding him, and then
or was you one person?
Oh, it was one person.
It was she was in a car on her way to her cousin's house.
Oh, okay.
Or something, right? And she saw him naked running down the street.
Because the kid was 14.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was a young. Yeah, he was a young man.
And she ended up calling the cops, and the cops because Jeffrey actually showed up and said, "Hey, this is my boyfriend," or whatever the fuck. The cops believed him, wouldn't take her statement. I personally
was it because she was African American?
Yeah, it was I think it was something.
It's because in that area, again, Dahmer was very smart in picking out where he stayed because it was a very crack-heavy neighborhood, lots of violence anyway. So if you have the one white guy who's sober around all these people, they're going to take your side. Because there was also another case which wasn't shown in the movie of an African American man who went back to his place because his car broke down. He just wanted to call. He was drugged and.
I wonder if it's the guy then how we see him. There's the one African man in his bed. I wonder if that's supposed to be him then.
Maybe because then he was dropped off at the hospital.
Oh, maybe not.
He gave the police his. Accounts of his statement of what happened. They interviewed Dahmer. And Dahmer said that no, he's a long-time boyfriend. We've been having fights and issues like that.
And they believe Dahmer?
And they believe Dahmer, even though he had a previous arrest record.
Wow.
And I think I told you this or something along the lines of the two cops got fired.
Good.
Got rehired.
Not good.
And one of them is a captain or a chief now of a police station.
Wow.
So they got fired, hired again, and now one's a chief. I mean,
mistakes are made, and how are you? I guess supposed to know, but still, you would think
But it's
take them in for statements or something.
You have one guy going to a police after he was hospitalized,
right?
Bleeding out of his anus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
forcible entry, and they could have found drugs in his system,
but they were like, no,
white guy, even though he's got an arrest record,
and it's all because, and unfortunately, it's all because of race.
Yeah,
and the thing that really saddens me is this was the person in real life was actually, their sibling was actually with Dahmer. He had sexually assaulted the younger sibling, I believe, or maybe the older one. This was the older. They were brothers.
Of the Asian guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And his brother was sexually assaulted by Dahmer, and this particular case, he had ended up passing away because of Jeffrey Dahmer. I mean,
that's fucked.
This shit's when you hear this story about this person, it's fucking
like it sounds made up. It's like, oh no, there's no way, but fortunately,
genuinely, when I watch his dad in interviews, I fucking genuinely feel bad for him because I think his dad just doesn't like. He's like, I
didn't understand.
Like when this
because Dahmer, like, he was never like, I don't know, like, I didn't do much research in his research in him, but like in his early days, he wasn't like sexually assaulted by his dad was.
No, his dad.
Good family, right?
It was a good family.
Good Christian family, right?
The first kind of like tweak to his
yeah.
system was when his parents got divorced.
Mm-hmm. And like I know that can cause some shit, but
it was more him having to repress his sexuality as well, which led down to a thing. And I think, again, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not anything.
Was okay with it.
Yeah, like his
dad was like, "Hey, like I don't give a shit. You're my son. Like I don't care. Like you're gay. You're gay. Who cares?"
I think it comes with the times.
That's true.
Like I think we've seen that with Gacy, like last week.
Yeah.
It's the suppression in the person themselves because they don't think it's right. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's where I think that the thing is the blockage of actually how do I say this? The blockage of realizing and completely opening up to who they actually are, and I think that's where it stems. It's where the issues stem with not being your true self and opening up in that way and feeling that you can't be your true self.
Yeah, because it was all heavy masturbation that he was trying to hide from it. The whole mannequin that he got. Yeah. He got that to try and stop his violent urges.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was the whole reason he got it, because he thought, okay, if I have this lying there still, if I have this lifeless there, and I just masturbate over that, that should be fine. But then his family found out. He had to kind of like cover up that lie because he couldn't tell his family what he was really doing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, okay. It's still fucked seeing where the line was snipped or crossed, or whatever if you want to say. It's it's just fucked.
And it was constant alcohol abuse as well.
Yeah, at the age of 17, he was like a full blown alcoholic.
There you go.
I mean, like I watched with the Ted Bundy tapes. Like Ted himself was saying, he's like, it's not one point where the wires cross. It's certain things that lead up to it that just next thing you know, shit's wonky and you're just something's
off or some screws gone.
Yeah. And I think it scares me because I think the human mind is such a powerful thing that's the scary part is fucking it can go so many different ways.
Yeah, it's true, yeah.
It's like one, like, you know, all this shit can happen in your life and your brain is such a powerful instrument that it can either lead you down a path of destruction and hate and despicable actions, or it can turn you into somebody who puts an honest to God effort into making the most positive situations happen for them and everybody around them. And it's just the way that
it's fine.
It's the way that every individual takes it. It takes that kind of stuff.
The challenge that is ahead of them or whatever that stunts it or whatever. That's true.
It's
weird.
Honestly, it is weird. I mean,
the human mind's fucked because like I said, like just like us three, as I know, no fucking murderers fucking at all fucking in thoughts. Mm-hmm. We're good. We're civilized. We're sane. But then it just like it's even Dahmer or Dahmer and like Bundy, the whatever 2-3 weeks when we were talking about, like they were both well-spoken guys. Like they, well even fucking Gacy, I'm pretty sure they're all like they weren't like like again I think with people like serial killers they think of like just like just fucked up, like loony people who just fucking kill. Like,
And grotesque.
And grotesque,
monsters.
right? Where it's just like, no, these guys are like your neighbor. They could be your work buddy. They could be your brother, your boyfriend, your husband, your uncle, your dad, whoever. Like, it could literally your mom, your sister, your aunt, whoever, right? It could be. And one day you have to go, oh yeah, they're completely fine. And then just one day it's just, and then it's just like, well, I feel like killing people now. Like, and it's just like, and maybe like they don't want to say anything because they don't want to be.
Yeah.
But then maybe they let that voice just, do it, and then like, okay, I'll just do it and get it done with, and we're good. And then I like that, and then this snowballs, right? And it's fucked.
Oh, it's so fucked.
And it's creepy thinking about that because it's like, like deep down it's like, fuck, do I have that? Like, am I one of those guys? Like, fuck, like, like if like randomly out of the way, if I had to protect myself or whatever, like there was a way in some weird situation I murdered somebody. It's like, then, oh shit, am I gonna enjoy that? Oh, like, I know, I'm pretty sure I'd fucking wind up killing myself, but like it's just like. But you know what I mean? It's a snap thought because it's like, fuck, like what made them snap? I don't know where I'm going with that.
I know what you mean. It's like that thing where you sit in your inner self and you think and you go, what? Wait. Shit like fucking Gacy last week. The fucking guy worked at a fast food joint. I worked at a fast food joint. You know what I mean? Like the similarities. But like, I mean, you look at anybody. I mean, you look at fucking like, you look at fucking Jeff Bezos and the guy probably worked at a fast food joint. But you know what I mean? Like, it's just a comparison of like, oh fuck, like what?
Right.
And it was all of a sudden, and what the fuck? But you know what I mean? It's that comparison where you go, fucked. Oh fuck, what's going on here?
Right?
It's also like the door opening to, if this could have been my neighbor, this could be anybody. And that's what also sends you down the spiral.
Right? And that's the thing that's fucking just so fucked up because, especially with this case, like with Dahmer, right? Because how many people did he wind up? It was, what, 18 or 15 or something?
18.
18 people he killed. And it just, like 18 people, and they were all like roughly like, they were all young people, right?
Yeah, they were young.
And he met most of them at the local like gay bar or whatever, right? And he drugged them and, right? So like it's going up. It's just fucked, and like I think the movie did like, I fucking decent job showing like I guess like his insanity going like when it cuts to when he's like like I'm gonna say like a 19-year-old when he first goes into the bar and then he's like looking around and he's like trying to find his target, I'm assuming, and or whatever, and he sees the one man and he then like they're talking and then he just. Then it cuts to a scene him in a bathroom putting pills in his drink and then I got you rum and coke, and then it's just like, oh, my favorite, and then drinks it and then it's just like boom, rapes him and kills him probably, and then just continues and the bartender kind of like I guess getting suspicious and then it just Dahmer being so fucking out of it and probably so fucking I don't know what if he just fucking drugged up as well or just so, and I wonder if that was actually true too, where he tried drugging the drink in the middle of the club, and the bartender saw that. I was like, "You get the fuck out! Like, what are you doing?"
Because I know he accidentally drugged himself a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so maybe that was him. Like, maybe.
And also, I think he had something had happened where somebody OD'd, and they had and he had gotten kicked out. So originally, what would happen in this area is you would go to the bar. The bars would close at like 2:00, and then there'd be like hotels or bathhouses or whatever that would be open all night. Okay. So everybody who was kind of still in the closet would go there, meet their partner, and then they'd spend the night together in a hotel. But Dahmer went on to say that he'd wanted to spend prolonged periods of time. Yeah. So what he wanted was really a boyfriend, like a life partner. But he just didn't know how to ever do that. But he would do despicable things.
Fucking disgusting things.
Yeah. And so one night he did that, and he had done those actions, and at the bathhouse somebody had OD'd and he got kicked out of the bathhouse. Oh, okay. So I think that might have been a connection with that scene, maybe.
Okay.
But I don't know for sure.
That's fine.
Don't quote me on that.
That's all
But
good.
I mean,
It's just fucked.
that sequence in the movie really fucking jarred me because it was just a depiction that was it was
unsettling.
absolutely
Because you saw it grow from like, oh, what's he doing, to like, oh, okay, to like, oh.
yeah.
It just you saw the build up of that, and then it just cuts back to. I think that was supposed to be like him remembering because that was the same bar, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was at, and then probably him like, oh, I can't go in there. That's probably why he said, because they probably know, and then it's just like,
because it was from June 30th to July 19th. It was one victim a week.
that's fucked. And then just fucking say, well, come back to my apartment. We can drink beers and talk, or just shoot the shit. And I think that's also him probably trying to, like, maybe this is like how I can get a boyfriend to bring him back, and I'm not a bad guy, but then it's just probably
no. I think he knew full
or was that he was like, I'm going to kill you.
It's not that he wanted to kill people, because he didn't like it when they were dead.
Mm-hmm.
He still wanted them to be alive. He just wanted
control him?
the power.
And is that why he put
And
the acid in the
exhibitionist,
head?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because the first person he tried that with, it killed him.
Oh,
And
okay.
and
then
he said
he was just
that he didn't want that to happen. He didn't want him to die.
Yeah, it was like trying to dilute the acid to the right amount.
so he's trying his best to make, I'm not a murderer. I'm just trying to figure out how I can just basically have this guy as my fucking puppet.
He just
That's fucked. As my sex slave. Really.
He felt a need to fulfill his sexual urges.
That's fucked.
That like listening to this shit,
so
the
much
documentary
fun.
that we watched, dude, it makes you
like,
physically sick.
I
felt
I need to watch it,
physically disgusted in this shit, man.
Because what's worse? Like, they're both fucking just as bad, but like going your way and then at least killing the guy, or going your way to then try to keep him alive, basically to the bare minimum where he's consciousness, but he doesn't know what's happening, and just keeping him at your place as a sex toy, basically. Like, what's worse? Like, trying your way, experimenting on unfortunate victims until you find the right dosage of acid, so then where they can, like, you can control them, or like, it's like, to me it's like, fuck, like, unfortunately, as bad as it sounds, like, fuck, like, at least they're gone. Like, they don't, like, they suffered a shit ton, but like, it's like they didn't have to suffer to where, like, it probably could have gone a lot worse, right? If they didn't die. If he found the right formula, where what he could have done with more people, and could have had like a weird, like, it's fucked. I don't know if that's inappropriate, but just like, it's just fucked. Thinking like, it's just like how he just wanted to play God in a sense, and he wanted to play like, oh, yeah, like, I'm gonna put this guy to the brink of death, but he's not gonna die, and then he's just gonna be like, he's gonna be my sex slave.
Because at the end of his trial, he does apologize for all the victims, and I've got the quote here. It's like, I hated no one. I knew I was sick or evil or both. Now I believe I was sick. The doctors have told me about my sickness, and now I have some peace. I know how much harm I have caused. Thank God there will be no more harm that I can do. I believe that only Lord Jesus Christ could save me from my sins. I ask for no consideration. Like, he was fully aware of what it was, but he just had no control. It was an itch he couldn't scratch.
But that's the thing, like, it's like he knew what he was doing was wrong. Like, and which is the fucked up part.
Yeah.
Because it's not like other people. It's, like, it's not like, like Mans, where he was hearing shit and, so he would kill people, but so he knew, like, Dahmer knew what he was doing, and to me, when he says that, it's like, that's a crock of shit. You probably just didn't want to die with guilt, and that's your way of tricking yourself. Being, oh, I don't have much guilt. I apologize to the families.
I think he does have a lot of guilt, though.
I don't know. It's like, I would have to, like, maybe
I think he's sorry that he got caught. That's what I personally think. I think he's sorry that he got caught, and now he has an out. He's a fucking manipulative piece of shit who has now found it out to not die. So what does he do? He decides that he's going to pretend that now, or not pretend.
Because he probably did care a little bit, but
because like,
how do I say this?
Because to me, it's
because I'd be 100% agreeing with you if he didn't have the mannequin. That's the thing. Because having the mannequin, that was his way of trying to control everything and to stop doing everything.
But then my I guess counter argument to that is then why the fuck when he's a grown ass man buy a fucking mannequin, like, and then you're good. Buy a man and then you wouldn't have to kill those people again.
Because he was a kid when he did it.
But just try it again. You never know. If you like to have a mannequin when you're older, and then if that fucking beats the urge of going out to murder people, then if he just has to say, oh, mannequin.
But like if you look at the aspect of it was to have control. That got taken away from him. Ergo, mannequin equals no control.
Steal a mannequin, that's control enough.
That's what he did.
Steal again, but no, this time it's more mannequins are more lifelike.
Do you know how he stole it?
He just walked away.
No, he got a sleeping bag, put it in the sleeping bag, zipped it up, and walked out of the store.
Do it. There you go. But he can do it again. I don't know. It's like, man, like it worked once. It probably will work again.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing.
I think he, to an extent, he knew what he was doing.
Yes.
And to an extent, he was sorry. But I don't know if I believe the fact that he is apologizing and he thinks that it's that bad.
No, I think it's proper shit.
I think he understands that what he did is bad,
yeah.
but I think that he doesn't understand what that feeling is.
Yeah, maybe.
And I think the only thing that he knows is, holy shit, I'm going to be dead.
Yeah, oh my god.
Holy shit, I'm on death row.
Yeah, my life's now over, and maybe for all we know, that was his way of being like, because was his dad was still alive at this time, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that was his way of being like, in a way of like a dad, I'm sorry. Maybe not. Maybe it wasn't sorry to the people. Maybe it was a weird sorry to his dad, like, and maybe then like the media could take like, hey, it's not his dad's fault. Like, let's blame this guy. Let's blame Jeffy and not his dad, not Lionel, right? Or
Lionel.
Right. So just like, I don't know, because like when killers like they do that and they apologize. Like part of me it's like, okay, maybe they do feel bad, but I don't know. It's just like, you knew what you were doing, dude. Like, you knew it was bad. Like, oh, but it's that itch I couldn't scratch. Then then you should have been like, to me, then it should like the first time he killed someone, he should have went and said what he said, and then like went to the police, confessed, and then maybe got a psychiatric test or whatever. But 18 there were 17 other victims. That just, I don't know. It's fucked.
If you thought it was bad, then it shouldn't have happened the first time.
Right?
Yeah.
Right, and that's my issue. Is I find that like it's like anything. It's like, hey,
I broke 18 plates, like day after day. It's
purposely.
It's like, well, you knew the first was bad. Well, yeah, but I couldn't help it. Like, fuck off. Like, nah. Like, it's, I don't know. It's and that's just my fucking opinion. Like, it's just.
But if you like, that's the issue, and I think that's where a lot of this confusion lies with him. Is you knew it was bad, but you still couldn't control yourself, and that's, I think, where this trial really was. Like, it differed because it's like, well, he seems sane enough to understand that this is bad, but he's also talking about fucking creating zombies and all this shit. And it's like, what the fuck?
Making people immortal by digesting them and having them be part of them.
Which was fucked. He ate people.
Yeah.
Fucked. This fucking dude was fucked.
Yeah.
Dude. If we get into the vulgar details into this, which I will warn people in this podcast, this does get even more vulgar than we have talked about.
We're just beating around the bush.
If you are not interested in this topic, then we do not blame you at all. Do not tune into this one.
Or at least stop listening here.
Yeah.
And but before you stop listening, I do want to clarify that I'm not excusing
No, we know
what he's saying.
No, we know.
I just think there are certain circumstances surrounding it which go into
that's
absolutely,
and that's good because you want that. You don't want it everyone agreeing. Like stuff, because then it's a boring pod. It'd be boring. It's they all agree.
Because I agree with you too. I'm like on the fence of like, fuck, is he sorry that he got caught, or is he actually sorry because he understands what the problem is? So I'm with you, and I'm with you both in a sense of like, I think it was a guy who fucking just didn't really just wasn't there.
Because with his first murder, he's on record of saying he didn't want to kill him, but the reason why he did is he didn't want him to leave the house. Mm-hmm. It's not like he wanted to kill him. It's like, no, don't leave me.
Yeah, and and
then that just took a sinister turn itself.
And maybe that was, and maybe it all started off with his parents divorcing. His mom left, And it's like, or mom, or he went to live with his dad or whatever it was, and it's just like maybe it's a abandonment issues that way, where maybe that's what it is. He doesn't want people to leave, but it's just because that's usually when he got when people wanted to leave, that's when he started to get really angry. It's, no, it's stay, right? So
again, it's that control.
But it's just I don't know.
And there was a 9-year gap between Stephen Hicks' first murder and Stephen Tuomi's second one.
Because I think he went off to the military or something.
I think so.
He became like a Christian, like a very hardcore Christian, and then he had like, I think he said that Stephen one was accidental or something, or
yeah,
I
don't know for sure.
The Stephen one was when he was a kid, right?
It was 80,
and then he cut him up and buried him in the forest surrounding his dad's place. But then he came back to it years later, dug up the remains, crushed it down to powder, and spread it so he could cover his tracks.
That's like, see, that's where I'm lost. That's where it's like, yeah, dude, you're not sorry, man.
That's why the jury found him guilty on 15 cases of murder. It's because of stuff like that when he went back to crime scenes to cover up.
Right, because it's just fucked, and
that's where the struggle comes, because it's you thought about it. So that, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like you thought about it that deep. How the fuck? But okay, this is it. So he went to the Ambassador Hotel with his second victim in 87.
Okay.
And he doesn't remember any of it at all. He just remembers waking up and he had strangled him and pretty much beat him to death. But he says that he can't remember any of it. I mean,
it's fucked.
This story, I know in pop culture it's very famous, this story. I mean, you listen to fucking Katy Perry songs, they talk about it. But I mean, when you actually look into it as a what happened, it's actually fucking vile and very, 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 very violent and very off-putting, to say the least.
Let's just fucking, this will be where, I guess, now, if you don't want to hear the vile and stuff fucked up, all the fucked up shit he's done with cannibalism and all that, I think my best place here is not to listen from now, and we'll go into it just for time purposes, but yeah, you know what, let's fucking just jump right into it. So yeah, guys, if you guys don't like that shit right now, stop listening.
Yeah, we don't blame you at all.
And come back next week. All right.
So we'll just we'll go into the I guess we'll just do a quick kind of synopsis, very, very quick for the movie, so we can jump into the real life shit. So it ends up that he goes to a knife shop and he meets a guy. He winds up bringing him back to his house, and it's kind of
I've because I was like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? You sell a guy a knife and he invites you home. Are you going?
No,
right?
No,
not a
fuck
chance.
That.
Not a chance.
Yeah. But at the same time, back then, thought nothing of it. Probably.
Even then,
I know. It's just, it's fucked. I don't know. And maybe it was a way of maybe Dahmer somehow, just got this guy interested. He's like, hey, I'm interested in this white guy. Fuck it. I don't know. I know what you mean. No, fuck that. If someone's like, oh, hey, I'm gonna get this hunting knife now. Hey, we'll come over for some beers. No. I'm good. I'm just gonna stay here. But sorry, go on.
They wind up going back to his apartment. He starts giving him drinks and alcohol, mixing it with drugs and drugging him and that kind of thing. They start wrestling and smoking pot and it ends up that the man leaves. And he winds up coming back. I mean, he tries to come back to get Jeffrey to buy him a cab after he, started getting very, very, very
violent and very fucked,
aggressive and shit. And he winds up admitting to Jeffrey Dahmer that he thought that he was beautiful and he was very attracted to him. And we get various cutbacks to the beginnings of the first murder that happened in Ohio with him driving it with the garbage bags and claiming that it's yard clippings and stuff like that. We get that, but I mean,
because I would like to point out the guy who was handcuffed, he is based off of two of his victims.
Okay.
One of who actually got away. After the real life guy left, police found him, and they picked him up because he thought he was an escaped convict.
Yeah.
Because of course,
Handcuffs.
he explained the whole situation, showed them where Dahmer's apartment was, and that's what got him caught out.
Oh, okay.
Because he went in there, got the key, police escorted him to the room, and found the pictures of like severed heads and stuff like that.
And
in the fridge.
And in the
They opened up the fridge
and freezer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was like a huge barrel in there. I mean, it's disgusting. The last 10 minutes of this movie are so uncomfortable for me. In 1994, he was killed after serving 2 years of his
license.
937 years. We were jumping through that movie. I mean, if you guys are interested in this criminal murderer mind stuff.
Oh, there's docs. There's so much shit you can find on these guys on any of them we've done.
The doc was on YouTube that we watched.
Yeah, and this documentary was very in depth about it. I'll say
because it was basically Dahmer's confession tapes.
Oh, I think I've seen some of those. Then
Oh,
I think it's when he's in prison, right? He's talking
Yeah.
to like he's like having an interview, right?
Yeah.
I think I've seen some of them.
his last interview before he got
killed.
the shit beat out of him. I mean,
I think it's before we get into what he actually did. This is the crime scene they found after Buddy went back to get the handcuffs taken off. The items found in Dahmer's apartment included a human head and 3 bags of organs, which included 2 hearts, were found in the fridge. 3 heads, a torso, and various internal organs were inside a freestanding freezer. Chemicals, formaldehyde, ether, and chloroform, plus 2 skulls, 2 hands, and male genitalia were found in the closet. A filing cabinet that contained 3 painted skulls, a skeleton, a dried scalp, male genitalia, and various photographs of his victims. A box with 2 skulls inside. A 57-gallon vat filled with acid and 3 torsos. Victims' identification. Bleach used to bleach the skulls and bones. Incense sticks. Neighbors often complained to Dahmer about the smell coming from his apartment, which he would explain was his... Or he would lie and say that his freezer broke, and it's the smell of the meat.
Oh, the meat going bad?
Yeah. Tools, which is a claw hammer, a handsaw, a 3/8 inch drill, a 1/16 inch drill bits, a hypodermic needle, various videos, some pornographic, blood-soaked mattress, and blood splatters, and a King James Bible.
there were 11 skulls found in his house when they went in the apartment. The apartment's now torn down. Block. I don't believe anything has been built there yet, but they tore that building down.
Good. That's fucked.
The Oxford Apartments in Milwaukee.
That's fucked.
I mean,
like
the main thing that he would do, and this is gonna get very vulgar and fucking very
disgusting.
sick. He would take the photos of the people.
Yeah.
Take their body parts, usually their bicep and their heart, cook them and eat them while looking at the Polaroids that he had taken.
That's so fucked. That's fucked.
There's actual video of him during this time spending Thanksgiving with his family and talking about all this stuff and living alone. I mean, he had gone on to think that he had said that he thought that killing all these men was just a waste, so he thought that he'd start eating them because again, it's all about the I want to keep them with me. So
as long as
so his idea was I'm gonna take their heart and and our hearts are gonna be connected and shit.
That's fucked.
I mean,
see, like that's where that and even see this the more and more hearing this the more and more he didn't fucking give that fucking apology was jack shit. He ate these fucking people. The fucking start going. That's fucked.
I mean, I don't want to get into every single murder because we'll be here for hours and it'll
and we can do a part 2 if we want.
Absolutely into some of that. I mean, he admitted to 17 murders. They were trying to, in the end, like we were saying, I mean, they were trying to assess if he was mentally sane or not. And a lot of people were saying that he wasn't. And that would have meant that he would have, like...
Probably went to the loony bin?
Yeah, and like...
He'd still be alive, probably, to this day.
No, I don't think so.
If he's in a mental ward? Like, padded room? Probably.
I think he would be. He'd still be alive. He'd be...
Because he'd be monitored 24/7, right?
Because that's the dream for everybody. That's the dream for all these guys. Because Ted Bundy tried to do it before he got fucking put to the chair.
That's why they don't want to go to the chair, right? Because they know if they can be considered deemed insane, either A, they go to an asylum and be fucking leather, padded room, probably leather strap, and just everything is you are now basically being taken care of by the taxpayers, or I could be. I don't know. I've never been in this fucking asylum. I don't want to. But I think he would still be alive. I think those guys want to be alive. Those guys want to go there because they just won't die. Because I think it's wrong to kill a guy who doesn't know, couldn't control, who was mentally insane. It's like I think it's against the law or something to criminally kill him or something, or to kill him or whatever. I don't know.
Because I think if he didn't go back to his crime scenes, he would have been classified as criminally insane.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
I think that was a deciding factor in it.
Yeah, because they were saying that it was split, down the middle. Like it was pretty. It was pretty.
It was like
the jury was kind of.
It's like 6 saying yes, 6 saying no.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
I could say it's you know what, and that would be to me the biggest sell. It's like he went back. It's like he knew what he did, and how Oliver's was saying he kept all this shit. And he painted a couple of them. You said right. It's like this dude's he kept these as mementos, as trophies probably of what he done. This guy. As mentally insane that is, it's he knew what he was doing at the end, and that at the end of the day goes to everything. He knew what he was doing. He knew it was wrong, but he couldn't scratch that itch, and that's just fucked.
Again, we've talked about this multiple times. After when we start talking about these in particular cults, murders and stuff like that. There comes a moment in time where pop culture starts making references to them, and there comes a time when the reference doesn't even connect with the source material anymore.
Yeah.
Or we talked about it with Jonestown, where it's don't drink the Kool-Aid. That's not even connected to Jonestown anymore. That's just not nobody really knows about that.
No.
And I feel like. The throwaway of all this shit about Jeffrey Dahmer. Oh wow, yeah. Oh Jeffrey Dahmer. You know what I mean? It's just no. This was an actual fucking person who did all this shit. This isn't a fucking game.
No,
this isn't some fucking made up fairy tale. This is real people's lives, real people who did this, and real fucking people's families who went through this shit.
Right.
And that's kind of what pisses me off is you don't even know what the fuck happened, and you're gonna start talking like that. At least know the fucking material.
Exactly.
At least know what the people fucking went through.
Exactly.
That's what I'm sorry. I got heated, but I mean it really fucking irks me.
Yeah.
No, exactly. It's because and people are gonna say, well, no, I'm not making fun of the victim. I'm not making fun of Dahmer. It's that's fine. Make fun of Dahmer as much as you want, but use a different joke. I know the joke I opened up with was a little bit, but I think it was more tame than other jokes that probably could be said and shit like that. And it's just if you want to make fun of make fun of the serial killer, make fun of Dahmer and his stupid fucking face and stupid fucking glasses and his stupid fucking goddamn voice and his stupid fucking hair and all that shit. That's fine. And how you're saying, Tucker. It's just when it comes to pop culture, I think most people are using that just to look cool and look at me, I know shit. No, you fucking don't. Do some research. Do a heavy research, and I think a lot of people who use it in pop culture and all that stuff would be oh yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, would actually be disgusted movie.
It's fucked, and I'm getting a little fucking heated. I don't know if you just want to call it here, or is there more? I don't know.
We've got 2 more things.
Yeah.
One I think you'll like is talk about how he actually died.
Wasn't he? Did he get his neck slit? He stabbed, he was shanked, right? Or something, or he beat the
On
shit out.
November 28, 1994, Dahmer and inmate Jesse Anderson were beaten to death by fellow inmate Christopher Scarver while on a work detail in the prison gym. Anderson was in prison for killing his wife, and Scarver was a schizophrenic convicted of first-degree murder. For reasons unknown, the guards left the three alone for 20 minutes. They returned to find Anderson dead and Dahmer dying from severe head trauma.
Oh, gotta wait.
Dahmer died in the ambulance before reaching the hospital.
Good. Yeah, that was the one thing where it's like, you know what, dude, that inmate deserves a fucking reward.
Well, you know the police just wanted them to get wet. He knew something would happen if he left.
Especially when it's like, oh yeah, let's leave him for 20 minutes. Let fucking... Yeah, and you know that who was the guy who killed him?
It was Christopher Scarver.
A good chance, nothing probably changed. He probably was...
Ready to scale and train your AI model?
He probably got no... I guarantee probably got no fucking repercussion from that, I would assume.
Nothing on here is saying...
Because it would be like, yeah, you know, because that 20 minutes they left him alone, yeah, like you said, those guards probably were like, you know what, let's just... Because I think everyone who probably knew that case, like, this guy's fucked. What, you know, because you never know, those guards could have, like, my friend was that cop who walked into his apartment and found everything. Now he's fucking scarred. Yeah, no, you know what, fuck it. You want to kill this dude? Absolutely, dude. Fucking do it. Kill these sons of bitches. And what was the other one?
The one that was just like going through the list of known victims.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, we got it, yeah.
Just a fact I found. Don't quote this. It's on YouTube comments section. Jeffrey Dahmer caused so much fear that even his body during the autopsy was in shackles.
Wow.
I mean, there's a YouTube video that's titled "Why I Killed Jeffrey Dahmer."
Was that and by the?
And it's about
the man who killed him.
Scarver, yeah.
Scarver.
And people say that they think it was because a lot of Jeffrey Dahmer's victims
were African American.
Yeah.
So it was after he was plunged to death, and on the way to the hospital, he was left in shackles until the doctor performed the autopsy.
Okay.
That's still fucking. You never know, right? Because you're like, hey, you never know. The dude could fucking test zombies.
Scarver is serving life for killing a man during robbery. He was charged with 2 counts of murder in the slayings of Dahmer and the other person.
Okay, so he was charged. But I wonder if that was just them. Okay, we gotta charge you, but it's like, but we're not gonna put it on. I wonder if it's like, yeah, like we're not gonna put it on your record. I don't know. But he's probably a guy who's like, you know what, I deserve to be in here, and I'm not gonna. It's weird, man. What did your last meals?
He wasn't on death row, so we only got one.
No, I'm just kind of looking now because I saw a picture of Gacy and it's like he ate the Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Was in wasn't it Kentucky Fried Chicken, strawberries, and 12
fried shrimp.
Yeah. Fat ass.
Yeah. For his last meal, he requested 12 fried shrimp, a bucket of KFC fried chicken, French fries, and a pound of strawberries. He was never told whether or not the fried chicken was actually from KFC. Eileen Mornos, who we're talking about next week, just had a black cup of coffee.
See, that's fucked.
Ted Bundy had the works, which was like steak and eggs.
Steak and eggs?
I don't know who that is, but...
So you want to wrap this up?
Yeah, we'll wrap this up.
Alright. So, the known victims of Dahmer was Stephen Hicks, aged 18, Stephen Tuomi, age 26, Jamie Dockstader, 14, Richard Guerrero, 25, Anthony Sears, 24, Eddie Smith, 36, Ricky Beeks, 27, Ernest Miller, 22, David Thomas, 23, Curtis Straughter, 16, Errol Lindsay, 19, Tony Hughes, 31, Connorek Synthesome phone. Apologies for butchering that. Matt Turner, 20. He was 14. Matt Turner, 20. Jeremiah Weinberger, 23. Oliver Lacey, 23. And Joseph Braidholt, 25.
And rest in peace.
Rest in peace, and thoughts go out to the victims of the family.
And Dahmer can rot in hell, right beside fucking Bundy and Gacy.
This has been Cats with Tin Hats. This has been Oliver.
Wyatt.
And Tar.
Thanks for listening.